Yeah. You start, but.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मप्रोञ्जितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयम् मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत् So we were looking at the Ramakatha. Yes. 1 second, let me zoom in a little more.
Did we already start the Ramakatha?
Somewhere, yes, I think so. Because all this
Illa
Subhabu,
Bala.
Maricha.
Oh.
La?
No. We are yet to start the Ramakatha.
Parshurama and all we saw. I think we stopped with Parshurama.
Okay. Yeah.
We can start. We can just read.
Illa. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we had gone through this. Whole lineage was there. Correct. Okay.
We'll read through. Just read.
No, we'll go down. We'll start from where we left. From that Parashurama part.
Yes, Dasharatha. Yeah.
Dasharatha, because of his rash promise to his wife Kaikeyi, was forced to ask Rama to leave the kingdom and live in the forest Dandaka for 14 years. Rama, ever mindful of his duties towards his elders, left his kingdom, his wealth, his devoted kinsmen, and his dear city, Ayodhya, without even a trace of regret, like a yogi who has no attachments, abandons his body, and gives up his breath. Accompanied by his wife Sita and Lakshmana, Rama left for the forest. While they were in the forest, Shurpanaka, the sister of the famed Ravana, saw Rama and she became enamored of him. Rama punished her sinfulness by deforming her. She summoned the Rakshasas, Khara, Dushana, Kharadushana, and Trishiras to punish Rama. These were the Rakshasas whom Ravana had placed in the Janasthana to represent him and his power. They were famed for their cruelty to the rishis living nearby. Rama was faced with the task of facing these three with their immense army, but he destroyed them all with the Kodanda, famed the world over.
Yeah.
Page number, Aarti?
It's
What?
in the book, it may be different from this. This
Yeah.
is the, what is the heading? Maybe we can tell you. You can look it up in the table of
Sri Rama.
contents and then go there.
Sri Rama.
Sri
In
Rama is the
canto.
heading.
Oh, here this is not canto wise, no? Yeah, Sri Rama is the heading. Yeah, so actually the first paragraph, yeah, that is most, I think, adored quality of Rama, right? Quoted quality of Rama everywhere. How that samatva. You know, it is said that for a while, if we forget, he is an avatara purusha, because Rama himself never told during his life that he did not say that he is avatara. Yeah, he did not display any of the divine whatever, all those divine powers we call it. He did not do that. So he later also during that Agni Pravesha and all, when all the devatas they all say, Rama, you know who you are. He says, I am just a mere mortal. That is how he claims. He doesn't display his divinity. So, here, when that kind of equanimity, when he was asked to take, even the situation when he was told by Dasharatha to be, because Dasharatha was in a hurry, right? That is one story where, because Bharata had gone, he somewhere deep in his mind knew that Kaikeyi might ask, because Dasharatha had promised Kaikeyi that if Kaikeyi begets a son for Dasharatha, then that son will be made the king. So that was there. So that is why they say Dasharatha was in a hurry to coronate Ram as the next king when Bharata was away. Something like that. So this was the point which Mantra also caught on to while influencing Kaikeyi's mind. So this equanimity, from where did such a young prince who was barely 22 years old get that kind of equanimity? So Nachur Swami, he says, there is this separate work, right? In Valmiki Ramayana, there is it is purely a story which itself is so glorious, but there are no Vedanta concepts that are given there. Okay, Atma Vidya and all is not given. But Ramayana itself has its own, that is different. But then, so Valmiki himself has given a work called Yoga Vasishtha. So when Rama was I think not even 16 years old when Vishwamitra comes there. After Rama's Gurukula, Rama goes around Ayodhya and he sees the way people live. He sees how wasteful people are actually spending their time, how they are not, valuing the life that is given to them, and how even youngsters are just killing time by doing something which is not going to bring them any kind of fulfillment. So he sees the, what do you say, utility of the work that every normal praja is involved in, and even the king. So that disturbs Rama as a small little boy who was, in his teens after his Gurukula. That disturbs the mind of that teenager Rama. He comes back. He sees, like, everybody seemed to be just running after something. Nobody seemed to be having a very fulfilled life. What is the point in doing something? Nothing seemed to change. Some kind of all those. So it is not called Vishada. I don't remember what word they use for Rama there. Do you remember, Arti? I don't know.
Some kind of vairagya sets in.
Yeah, that is also depression only, says
Yes,
me. But they don't call it Vishada, they call it something else. I'm not remembering that Sanskrit word. So he is there. That is turned as Vairagya by Vishwamitra Rishi. Because sometimes, we do see the, that vanity in which we are, that kind of hits us. But it draws our energy down, and we do not want to interact in the world. We see it is all futile, we do not know how to channelize that. So a higher presence is needed to say what you have now is Vairagya. It is a good thing. Use this Vairagya in the right way. And then Viveka is put in there, to see the impermanence and the permanence. And then slowly they are taken to this Atmajnana. So when that little boy was in that kind of a state of mind, yeah, where he sees no meaning in the way people live. And even, the kings, everybody seemed to be doing something very shallow. That kind of a thing is there set in. And that is the time when Vishwamitra walks into Dasharatha's court and says, I want Rama to come with me to fight and destroy the Tatakas, the Rakshasas who are creating so much of disturbance to the rishis and the yajnas in the forest. So at that time, Rama is called to the court. The moment Vishwamitra sees Rama's expression, Vishwamitra is able to see that kind of a, the down face in Rama. Then he asks, oh child, what is it? Then Rama explains, and that is the conversation that starts. And then Vishwamitra gives a little bit of, what do you say, steering or whatever to it. And then he says, Vasishta has to give the entire Upadesha to Rama. And Vasishta takes Rama through the entire Atmavidya. And that, the strength of that Atmavidya, it is very beautiful. The last verse, just like, in Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna says to Arjuna, Arjuna, now I have told you everything. Okay? Nashto, is your moha gone? Is your mind clear? Krishna asks, like how a mother asks to the child. And Arjuna says, Nashto moha. My moha is gone. Yeah? Smriti labdha. Now I remember the true nature. And what you say, you command, I will do. Yeah, that is Arjuna's thing. Like that, the last verse they say in yoga, one of the few last verses maybe, I've only heard from Swami. So he says, that is translated by Ramana Bhagavan in Tamil. So I don't know the Sanskrit verse. So it is said that, okay, now Rama, you know all the truth of life. Okay, now you go back. He says, ஆசையோடு ஆசை போல் விளையாடு வீரா. Which is like, now you go back to life, to lead your life. Dhira. Now you are a dhira now. You know what is true, what is untrue. You know how to stay established in truth, whatever life prarabdha throws at you. Yeah? You know to lead your life like that. Such a one is a dhira. Yeah? You are that. Now you go back and do your Kshatriya dharma. You are there, you are complete. So that Vasishtha, the guru, empowers that child Rama with that whole work is called Yoga Vasishtha. So it is the strength of Atmavidya, it is the strength of being established in truth and, being able to face the prarabdha and do his dharma, we can say, whatever. That gives that equanimity to Rama at this point in time. That is why when Lakshmana is so angry with Dasharatha and comes and says, Rama, that old man, he has lost his senses, all those things Lakshmana says in anger. Rama says, oh Lakshmana, there is no point in getting angry. Till last evening, Kaikeyi looked at us as her own son. And in a matter of few hours, something drastic has changed and something is coming and standing in front of us. This is called prarabdha. This is called daiva. We have to face it. So that wisdom comes for Rama because of that, Yoga Vasishtha. So, that's what came in when the first paragraph was read out. Not even a
Many
trace.
times in our journey, that lack of interest in the worldly things may come up. It just happens. But I'm in this situation, I have to do so. But somehow the same kind of excitement I had earlier, I don't seem to have. And that is the time, again, when we need to, what the scriptures really do for us when we read the Ramayana, when we read the Bhagavatam, when we read all of this is, the beauty of these scriptures is that it is not telling something which is mystical, which is not real. It is pointing us and giving us clarity to what is the human experience. Everything that we experience is initially we are experiencing the material world. And now there is a shift from that. Whatever was there, this material world, it's not pulling me anymore. It doesn't seem to give me the happiness. It doesn't seem to be, that same excitement is not there anymore when I buy something. None of that is there anymore. Why is this happening? What is happening to me? Why, there is a phase of confusion at that time. It feels like nothing, there is no hold on anything. And that is when these scriptures give us clarity. And when we delve into it, we start relating with it. And when Bala was talking about Lord Rama, yes, he never, his avatara itself was to show humans how to live in the highest possible way as a human. So he never expressed himself as God. As a human, what is the highest way to live? To be that, to live with that absolute equanimity. I get the throne, I don't get the throne. He was just following. See, that was the difference, right? If you are in the material plane, something comes along, you are very excited about it. Oh, I'm going to be the king. Okay, I need to be a good king. I need to do this. What do I need to do? Some kind of excitement comes in. But when in that absolute unfazed and there is a lack of material interest, so to say, in that way, when it comes, what happens is what comes and goes does not matter. Because I am just living my life as per whatever Bala said, prarabdha karma. That's it. Okay, so this throne has come to me right now. I have to become the king. I will accept it. I will do what is needed as a king. I'll not have my own want, just because now the material world does not pull me anymore. I'm not going to say what is there in this throne and all those things. It doesn't please me anymore. I just want to sit and no, but that is my dharma. I am here. So I will take it and do whatever I can. It is my dharma. I mean, it has come my way. It is a part of my prarabdha karma. So I will do whatever. Okay, the next moment it was not that. Okay, maybe my prarabdha karma is something else. There is no like or dislike. There is no attachment to anything in the material world. So this is what Lord Rama was exemplifying to us was his transcendence from action and inaction, from likes and dislikes, that absolute equanimity about it. And yes, that shift came to him, and Vashishta gives him that whole. There is a beautiful conversation in the Yoga Vashishtam, how Rama asks some questions and answers, and that clarity. What is this new state? How do I live this new state also? Right? How do I also live this new state? It's all new to me. How do I live it? And all that clarity is there in that Yoga Vashishtam. So if you see whether it is Lord Rama, whether it is Lord Krishna, they've all had. Lord Krishna went to the Sandipani Ashrama. It is Swami Garva will say he probably read the Kathopanishad, because if you see the Bhagavad Gita, most of the examples will be from the Kathopanishad, from Lord Krishna. So that is why we were saying it is these stages, what we were talking even in the last class about the 14 angas, the qualities, attributes, and 16 attributes. It is just how much of that godliness, that God is within us, in our own heart, and our journey is a movement from the Danava to the Manava to the Madhava. From the animalistic instincts to the human instincts to the godly instincts to godliness. That is the evolution. Initially, the evolution is all physical evolution, sensorial and mental evolution. And then finally, what happens is the spiritual evolution from Danava to Manava to, as a human being, the journey is from Danava to Manava to Madhava. So how much of that godliness? It just becomes that. Parashurama was able to see the larger picture of what is happening. He addressed it differently, as a little more animalistic instincts. The Raudra, the anger and all that. And Lord Rama exemplified the Manava instincts, the highest Manava ways. And by the time we came to Krishna, it was all complete godliness, Madhava. From Parashurama to Rama to Krishna. A blossoming. A blossoming where the whole full lotus in the Sahasrara has completely bloomed.
And this equanimity is possible only because that is that recognition of the inner treasure. Now the mind does not seek, attach any, pain or pleasure to anything outside. Yeah. So it does not entertain any thoughts related to anything. So there is no raga, no dvesha. The inner one is there. It is so expansive that it's a little away from the topic is the same, but because it is coming up, say there is one beautiful verse in Ishavasya Upanishad where it is said that the one who sees, everything as the Lord. Even today, I think in the morning, Narayani, we were seeing the stages. It is so beautiful. First, in Bhakti, what happens is we say, I belong to you, O Lord. All that is mine belongs to you. Then slowly, what happens is, oh, this I is indeed you. All these are you. It becomes that. And then the Bhagavata Dharma, the Parabhakti, where it says that you alone is. Right? That's that Parabhakti that Bhagavata says. That is the Bhagavata Dharma. So, for these stages, the why did I come here? I don't know. This Ishavasya Upanishad. It says the one who has recognized the treasure within, who is constantly in communion with first knowing that I belong to you, who is in that upasana mode constantly, and then slowly, the one who has completely surrendered so that he sees only his Shakti everywhere. For that, it is given, the word given is the yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanu pashyate. So the one who sees everything as Atman, there is no na vijugupsate, it is given. Okay, that vijugupsate is there are many different ways of I think people have come up with it, but Swami talks about a beautiful thing where Bhagavad Pada Adi Shankara has given is there is no need for such an individual, we can't say individual, for such a one to you know protect himself from something, because that individuality itself is not there. Every experience that, so like what Ramakrishna says, if I feel like flying, then they become one with that bird who is flying. That is the Bhagavan, that what do you say, Sarva. So that Sarvatva is there. When that Sarvatva is there, there is no limitation. Right? Bhagavan is walking through all the legs. He is, working through all the hands. He is flying through all the wings. He is seeing through all the eyes. So where is this limitation? That individual thing itself is not there. So when that kind of wealth is, even if that we don't even have to, be in that experience, we wouldn't have reached, but even to recognize that gives so much of freedom. Oh yes, just to recognize that, the first step of recognition itself, so that inner treasure is recognized. It is that one Sat which is just there. There is no boundary to it, which is just there. So in that case, where is the question of acquiring something? Where is the question of holding on to something? Where is the question of, there is nothing. It is just Purnatva everywhere. So like that, so Rama has recognized that wealth. So wherever he is, that wealth is there. It doesn't matter being in the forest or being in the kingdom. So the equanimity comes with the recognition of that inner wealth. That is why Krishna also says, like Sandipini, when Aarti was saying, when Sudama comes, he says, we must we must be so grateful, the gratitude to our Guru, because of our Guru indeed, I am in Aishwarya, Shripati. Yeah. Yet within there is equanimity, Samatva. You are in complete, what do you say? No, nothing at all, right? Kubera, for not Kubera, Sudama.
Sudama.
So that's Sudama, right? Yet that equanimity is there. It is that the Guru has given us that Samatva, that inner treasure is found. Then where is a question of acquiring something? Where is a question of holding on to something? Where is a question of, all that? So attaining, achieving. Someone is doing, there is so much of oneness. So Rama is that. That's why he was so he could just take it like that. Oh, Bharata is becoming the king now. Kaikeyi herself might not have expected that kind of a thing from. He was so happy for Bharata, and he tells the Praja of Ayodhya, Bharata is just like me. Right? So, yes.
When we relate all of these things with the book of our life, we go back and visit so many things and how things fell in place, what happened. Earlier we may be attaching likes and dislikes, pain and pleasure to many memories and things like that. But if we transcend these, the likes and dislikes and the pain and pleasure, of these memories, and you just look at the flow of this life, like the river of life, this whole play of the divine, you will know that nothing is in your hand at all. Actually, everything has happened. Everything is a happening for a certain reason, a big way. It's like, I always say this, like a big piece of puzzle coming and just coming together. It is just puzzle pieces coming together, and all our sense of doership, I did this, so this happened, I should have done this, so this happened. So much doership and raga dvesha that we attach to it becomes meaningless when we go over our life. This and just, there are two parts to everything. One is reading the scriptures and then reflecting on our lives based on this, or going through our lives and getting clarity for that from scriptures. It can be either way. But when we look at it, when we relate the two things, everything that is being told here, whatever Bala told, about that equanimity, that can come in, because then you know that it is not my doership. So many things that I am attaching as my doership, so many things I'm attaching as my like and dislike or my pain and pleasure, they are all not that. They just had to happen as it happened as it had to happen. That is it. And there was no doing of mine. In fact, everything that came together, even the word that was told, everything, if you look at everything, we attach so much. The other day, just to give you a little bit of a direct, uh, life experience, there was a situation in the house where my daughter, something happened, and uh, something she said, it hurt somebody. But then what had happened was that before that already there was some other pain, there was some other relation thing, there was something else. So there was a chain reaction which happened, which led, this was just the final arrow, like the final trigger, which caused it to come out in a way, in fact, in reality. But there are a chain of events. So to take all ownership to myself and to say, I did this, I didn't do this, it in it. So when we reflect on that whole chain of events, then it brings that equanimity automatically. There is a larger play happening here, much beyond my understanding. So, my role in this life right now is to just keep driving in this vehicle of body, or sitting in the vehicle of body and moving. What comes, we do. What does not come, we don't do. Good enough, we don't think about it and keep moving on. That is the beauty. That is why he is called Maryada Purushottam, because he exemplifies that equanimity throughout. And yet, doing what is coming his way with absolute, complete dedication as his dharma. So they say, right? Follow Rama's living and Lord Krishna's teachings.
We can't follow Krishna's.
We can't follow. We better not follow also. Being who we are. No.
Just
But
on a
if we follow
lighter
deep,
note, someone asks, Prabhupada, Krishna did Rasa Leela. I can also do Rasa Leela. So
huh,
Prabhupada says, yeah, you can. If you can lift the Govardhanagiri, you can also do Rasa Leela. That's it. So we know who we are, know where we are. And so, yes, it is. Each avatara is very beautiful. One beautiful Bhagavata shloka today. It was so fantastic. It says that Aja, the one who doesn't have any birth, you know, comes in front of us like he has taken birth as an avatara. It is glorifying Krishna. Uh, it says, as if you've taken, and the word they use is, you are the Maya. So the one who is beyond the guna, the one who has nothing to do, who doesn't do anything, you know, uh, comes in front and seems like he appears like he is doing so many things, comes in front and he shows as if he has a form, yeah, and he is, comes in front and does so many things. Why do you do this? Bhagavatam is asking, why do you do this? It is only to build that devotion to all those who think that they are born. It is just fantastic. Such a Vedanta Grantha, I tell you, this Bhagavatam. When we look at every word, it just, I don't know, it touched me so deep. It is not talking about any devotion, punya, papa, nothing. It is saying it is to uplift all those who think they are born. I am in that ignorance, no? I do not know truly who I am. I think I am born in this body. I am attached. I am this body. That thought gave the ignorance that I am born and I will die. So again and again, Krishna says, we are not born, never dies, right? When the body dies, you do not die. When the body is born, you are not born. So that moving that attention to that eternity, eternal principle, Sat, Chit. So with just this shloka, with so much of bhakti, it is giving us. And it says, it is just to destroy the ignorance that you are born. The unborn comes in front of you and dances and acts in different forms and does all the karma so that you get, you start listening to the katha, you get the satsanga, you forget yourself, you inquire into your true nature and know who you are. The compassion of the Lord. It was very beautiful. I don't know why I told that. This is maybe related to this. This is the compassion of the Lord. Why I brought him. Yeah. So we'll move on. If there's...
while they were in the forest, Shurpanaka, the sister of, we read that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This
That
one.
is, yeah, we move down, Bala. Ravana heard about the beauty of Sita and about the killing of the army in Janasthana. He decided to avenge. So basically, Khara and Dushana were there in that place, in that Janasthana where Shurpanaka came. They were supposed to be the rulers there. So he decided to avenge the insult to his daughter, to his sister, and the killing of the Rakshasas. He had already fallen in love with Sita and had decided to take her. He instigated Maricha to assume the form of a golden deer. Sita saw the deer wandering near the ashrama and captivated by its beauty, she asked Rama to get it for her. To please her, Rama pursued it to make a gift of it to her, who had never asked him for anything till then. After a while, he knew that it was a Rakshasa and had donned the form of a deer. He sent an arrow which hissed like Rudra's anger against Daksha. Maricha was killed, but during Rama's absence from the ashrama, Ravana had entered it and had carried away his beloved Sita. See, Rama also, like this Ramayana, no, it has so many facets to this whole thing. layers and layers of meaning. At one level, it is the story. When you follow the life of Rama, you learn so much about equanimity, about following dharma, about mm, uh, righteousness and everything just by looking at his life, the overall story. And the larger story, whether you take Ravana, whether you take Mahabharata, whether you take Ramayana, if you look repeatedly, the repeated, what is the fight between dharma and adharma here? Adharma is always accentuated by a person who is full of the Arishad Varga, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya. Whether here it is Ravana or there it is Duryodhana. Someone who is completely in the siege of this Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya. And on the other side, what is constantly shown is that endurance of suffering. Whether it is Rama or whether it is the Pandavas. Endurance has been the larger, for dharma. Rama had to leave to the forest for 13 years. Then Ravana, whatever happened with Ravana, fought with him, gets his wife back, takes some Vanaras for his help. Because he's an ascetic, he's not a Raja king anymore, so he cannot go and ask for help from any kingdom. He uses the help of the creatures in the forests to fight against Ravana, get her back. And even then, later on we will see. So there is so much endurance constantly in Lord Rama's. That is what is accentuated through. Similarly, Pandavas, if you see, so much. They were raised in the forest, the laddu, or poisonous laddu, the snake bite, the lakshagraha, and then the dice game, Draupadi's Vastraharan, the 13 years of Vanavasa. And then when they come back, still they have not lost it. Through all of this, the beauty is there. Viveka has not left them. So one can become so angry otherwise, right? But only because of that absolute surrender and that endurance to know that this is what probably life has in store for us. And so we need to do this. And at the end also, Yudhishthira says the war is not at all good. His Viveka has not left him. We must stop this war because this is going to cause a very huge loss of life. He sends Lord Krishna. But Duryodhana was filled with his mada and matsarya and so the fight of dharma and adharma is that constant fight between the Arishad Varga and that endurance within us. Endurance through surrender. Endurance through acceptance. So even the Pandavas, they avoided problems all the time. But towards the end, when it became inevitable that they had to fight, they also went with it. They also did that. Whatever life presented, they accepted it and they went with it. So that is why they are being called as dharmic. And the other side is adharmic. So similarly, I was with the drama story. So this is the larger dharma and adharma you can look at the larger level. Then you can see this journey of the jiva and the jivatma and the paramatma and the mind.
Just to add with this endurance thing, before you move to the next perspective, this endurance, if we look at it, all those who have endured, even during the process, they are peaceful.
Yes.
But Duryodhana gave in to his Arishadvarga, that Madha, right? He was not peaceful, even though he had all the material comforts. There was not a moment of peace. Pandavas, there was challenges every moment in the forest, whatever. But that endurance is, what is endurance? Like what Aarti was saying, acceptance with complete
Acceptance.
surrender. Yes, unishtam and ishtam. Ramana Bhagavan's, Vedavak, unishtam and ishtam. Your will. There is no separate will. That's how Pandavas lived. They went through. We see how Arjuna goes through that mental breakdown in the war. And we see how Yudhishthira goes through that after the war. It was not easy. Yet the hold to the truth was there throughout. So that gave them that, even the journey. See, if there is nothing like end. The journey is life. Moment to moment, how we live is life. So there's nothing like any end, So this moment, if we abide in peace, that is a dharmic life. So Rama also, shows that, and Pandavas, Krishna, yes. Actually, if we look at Krishna's life, not as Bhagavan, just to look at the incidents. There is a very popular WhatsApp thing also, no, where Karnas and Krishnas is. So, just as incidents for a normal, human being, we will wonder how Krishna is smiling, right? But because of his equanimity, even those challenging situations are so sweet for us to hear. It becomes, for a child to face that Putana and Trinavarta, Asura, danger after danger after danger after danger, when he was in Gokula. Even Krishna's life, if we look at it as a normal human being, it is a full of all these things only, challenges, but he did not suffer. He chose to be established in truth. So there was no suffering. Rama shows because he is coming down little bit to our, and then he shows that, but yet that equanimity is there with it.
If you look at even Lord Rama himself goes through that endurance.
Mm.
He endures everything, all the sufferings that come his way. Okay. And then in the next avatara, he is now preaching to others.
Mm.
He has gone through that, but unfazed by any of the sufferings that come him. And then he is able to preach to the others also. And now the Pandavas are going through that endurance so much, and they have endured, and that is why Krishna comes to them. If we look at the Mahabharata, Krishna comes somewhere in the middle only. The Krishna Leela and all is not there. It comes, I think, if I am right, after the Lakshagraha, Lord Krishna comes.
Only when I think Draupadi comes also, no?
Yeah, he and Draupadi, they come later, much later,
That's
because
the
they have
first time
endured.
I think Arjuna Krishna meet, right? In that Draupadi Swayamvara.
Dwayapadi Swayamvara, that's when they meet, after the Lakshagraha, that one year.
Even though they were cousins.
Yes. So they proved they were enduring, they were, they just followed their dharma without any. Then God comes there and guides us and helps us through.
Yet the force of Prarabdha was so strong. Bhishma in Bhagavatam says, before Bhishma Stuti starts, he first looks at all the Pandavas and the tears in his eyes, he says, "Oh, you Pandavas, who the elder one is Dharma, who stands for Dharma. Yudhishthira, right? The most powerful one, Bhima was there. The Gandhivadari Arjuna was there. And such intelligent and wise Nakula Sahadeva. You five had to go through so much. You had an eternal companion who is Paramatma himself, Krishna, with you. who was the Sarathi for Arjuna, who was there throughout for you, yet you had to go through so much. This is life. So, that is the thing that Bhishma first says. It is like that. But while going through, when that holding on to truth is there, when that surrender is there, then the journey itself is so elevating. It is very balanced and peaceful. That is what is important. There is nothing like goal or anything. It is the journey. So,
They
but
may have gone through little sukha dukha, these things in between,
yeah.
if you look at the Pandavas. But overall, that surrender never left them. You may sometimes, but swiftly come back. It didn't take them off the route in any way. They continued and tried and acted with Viveka. Sometimes Bhima would say, what is this? They are doing this. But the Viveka never left them.
The
They
beauty is
always...
it comes as somebody and
Mm,
gives. And they are receptive to it at that point.
receptive.
That is very important. When that surrender, when that hold to the truth is there, even Rama shows that, no? When Rama cries for Sita, when he meets Sugriva the first time, and when he sees the jewels and all that, he cries to Lakshmana, he breaks down. He's literally, so that they say Sugriva comes and says to Rama, Rama, do not cry for all this. We can, a man who loses his balance cannot work. He counsels Rama. And Rama, because he says, I'm very blessed to have a friend like you who can guide me at the right time. So Rama takes the counsel of Sugriva at that point. So that is what is Sahaviryam Karavavahe. We chant, right? In this path, even if we fall, when that hold to that, we will fall. The hold on to the truth is there. Grace comes as some guidance, and the same grace makes us receptive to it. That is why this holding on to the scriptures, having a continuous, this satsanga is very important. And that is there. Otherwise, we see Duryodhana was never receptive to Krishna's, right? Whatever Krishna says, he was never receptive. Ravana was not receptive to Vibhishana's counsel. Mandodari was there for him to counsel. He was not. So all that, it's beautiful. Yeah, you go on to the next one, the other perspective which you want.
And then there is the other very profound, the larger, the way these rishis know. One is they have to write the scriptures in a certain chandas with so many verses. They have to bring out the story. They have to write it in this chandas and so beautifully bring everything out. And they have to bring the wisdom of it. And the whole story also, how they fit it in, is just amazing. The kind of, the level of, how would we say, the expertise or whatever you call, right? It just flows. It almost looks impossible for a human to do it. It is from that bhakti that it has just flowed. It is just flowing. So the other perspective is to look at this whole thing as the Jivatma, the journey of the Jivatma to the Paramatma. Like Mata Sita as the Jivatma and Lord Rama as the Paramatma. They are together in Ayodhya. Ayodhya, no yuddha. There is no conflict when they are there together. But then when they come, and that is what Sita says, as long as wherever Rama is, that is Ayodhya for me.
Mm.
And she comes into the forest, and there also they are together. They are so peaceful. The moment the mind goes out, the Jivatma turns itself outside to a deer and say, I want this. So it is that point at which Ravana, the Arishadvarga, comes and captures the Jivatma completely. The moment the mind turns outwards from inwards from the Paramatma. The moment the Jivatma, there is a turn, there is a desire, there is an outward looking. And the Arishadvargas come, or the 10 vices come together and capture this Jiva right now. And so but there also, because her mind is always, this Jiva's mind is always on Rama, she is in Ashoka Vatika. There's no Shoka there, because there is that absolute faith that Rama will come and get me. And I just need to keep this mind. I just need to remember the Lord at all point in time. And finally, Lord Rama comes and takes her back. In between, there is that Hanuman, like the mind, the monkey mind, which is going, Vanara. But that mind is not like that. It's completely filled with bhakti for Lord Rama. And when that bhakti enters in, meets the Jivatma, then the Paramatma and the Jivatma come together.
Just to add this, when they talk about this Jivatma, no? So she is in Ashoka Vatika because there was only a small slip, but immediately that awakening has come. The moment she knew the pain of being in the grip of that 10 vices, right? She was sensitive to it. Many times we are not sensitive to it. We think that is what is positivity. But Sita knew the pain of being in the grip of that. So her mind was constantly in remembering the Lord. Yeah. But it is very beautiful if you see the steps before Hanuman meets. That's why that Kanda is called Sundara Kanda. That is the most beautiful, episode in a Jiva's journey. Yeah. The Jiva falls, yeah, moves away from truth, and then it is in the tapasya to get back to truth. Yeah. During the tapasya period, the jiva goes through lot of trauma from this Arishadvarga, the Indriyas. Yeah, through Ravana, Sita is enduring. She is enduring that trauma. Yeah. There reaches a point. So before Hanuman meets Sita, Sita reaches a point of, cannot take it anymore. She gives a timeline to Rama. She says, within 2 months, you have to come. Ravana gives, but in her mind, if you do not come right now, I feel like killing myself. That is the state the jiva goes into. The jiva truly is, unable to bear the separateness from Paramatma. Or in other words, the jiva is unable to bear the grip of the Arishadvargas. Yeah? That time is when there is an assurance that comes flying from somewhere magically. That is the time when the jiva gets into this spiritual path. There is a messenger directly from Paramatma to give you the assurance that Paramatma, the pain that you go through is much lesser than what the pain the Paramatma go through when the jiva leaves. So Paramatma is there, it will come at the right time. Continue your endurance, continue your tapasya. So Hanuman is symbolized as Guru there. He comes, gives the assurance. He doesn't do anything. He gives the assurance and goes back. Tapasya continues, and then Paramatma, Jivatma cannot do anything. Jivatma can only continue the tapasya and wait with complete endurance. Paramatma comes and takes, just like how the ocean takes the river into it. It's very beautiful, actually. Lot of things. Yeah.
So Rama and Lakshmana wandered in the forest in search of Sita, and on the way they came across Jatayu, who had been a friend of their father. He was dying as a result of his fight with Ravana. After cremating him with the proper rites which a son observes when cremating his father, Rama wandered in search of Sita with his brother, who tried his best to comfort him in his sorrow. The bereavement from Sita was too much for him to bear. He would lament and say, Lakshmana, this is the state of a man who becomes too attached to a woman. I feel so lost without Sita. Now this dialogue, this he's telling, he knows, he here, when in this dialogue, he's being a human and giving. So we know, right, that buddhi is working. Sometimes we are not even aware of our attachment until that what we are attached to is separated from us. And that's when we realize the level of attachment that is there. So again, if you look at attachment is making somebody a part of me, extension of me, mine, all the vibhaktis, me, mine, from me, by me, for me, all of this. And over time, this attachment also is let go in Lord Rama's life. Our attachment, in our art of parenting, we keep talking. So I'm not attached. In office, I'm fine. I don't behave like this. All this doesn't happen. All this happens only at home. So there must be something wrong with my wife and children only, right? When I am okay outside, why am I not okay in the house? Because it is with the people in the house that my attachment is there. With people at office, there is no attachment. Where there is attachment, there is expectation. Where there is attachment, there is a lack of surrender. And hence we perceive a situation as pain or pleasure. And hence we perceive situation as likes and dislikes. This is a beautiful message that Lord Rama is again, it's being given to us as a message. Attachment brings sorrow, and he is being very, how would I say? So if you even to put it in an esoteric way, it's the Paramatma separation from the Jivatma. And pulling the Jiva to it. So he is exemplifying, even as a human, all the emotions. But yet, he is very sad. He is crying, but he never loses his dharma in that. He never loses his dharma. He never loses his viveka. There is a deeper sense of understanding And sometimes these vulnerabilities are very important also. Because in that equanimity, we will never be able to relate or connect with anybody. Because he knew that pain of separation from Sita, he helped Sugriva.
One very thing that is coming up is he acknowledges his feeling. He sees that, okay, and there is no blame on anybody. So he is not angry with Ravana. He does what has to be done. That is why later, when Vibhishana says, I cannot do the Antim Samskar for my brother, Rama says, I will go and do it if you don't do it. So there is no element of anger there. It is also said that I don't know if that is there in Valmiki Ramayana. In some other stories we have heard
He
where
did tapas, Brahma Hatya.
even for Brahmatya, he does that atonement in Rameshwaram. And before the war, there is one story, right, where he
Lakshmana.
in fact calls Ravana because he is that only learned scholar who could do something for. So there is no
Who does
enmity.
his Titi, Shraddha, for his
Because,
father.
yes. So there is no enmity. Nirmatsaranam says Bhagavatam, right? For someone to, the basic qualification that Bhagavatam expects so that Bhagavatam starts working in us is no matsarya, no jealousy, no enmity,
No
nirvair.
Arishadvarga has come up even in that attachment.
It does not come when we know it is because of the attachment here. It comes up when we think it is because of his lust he has taken my wife. It makes a huge difference. Spiritual life is all about this one. It has got nothing to do with the other because there's no other. Yeah. It is all about this here, what is happening within. Spiritual life can slowly progress only when the attention is completely in what is happening here. It is not about anything else. So that also comes up here because this is the state of a man who becomes too attached to a woman. He knows that. Even in Yoga Vasishta, when he first says it is all because of ego, ahankara vashat. So Vasishta says, your diagnosis is right, Rama. It is all because of that only. That is the only culprit. So Rama has always been right in knowing, in diagnosing it correctly because he was established in the truth. That is the strength. It is only by the inner strength, such things are possible, that Viveka works. Otherwise, it doesn't. So Lakshmana, he says, I feel so lost without Sita.
How much more is there in this?
What is the time? 28.
We say, how much is there in this? I think some more is there, no? Yeah. Okay.
Lots are there.
We'll stop here. Om Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Aarti. Thank you, Bala.